Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review post WrestleMania 42. This is episode 4. I am the original moderator, Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review, Aaron Rift, of course, Son Goshoku. I botch it every time, and I'm glad.
Close enough.
Son is here, Big G is here, happy to be here. Going to get annoyed with super chats, I'm sure, come 7:45, 8 o'clock. Gino, co-moderator, is here, and Jeff Meacham is here. What's going on, everybody? Jeff Meacham, what's up?
Sorry about that. It's the fallout from WrestleMania. You know, it's still fresh in our minds. We had a good weekend on the watch-along front. I think I did more watch-alongs this weekend than I've done in my entire time working with Aaron and everything. I'm exhausted, but one more day, and then we can rest. So, NoDQ review time.
Well, I have a feeling the super chats are going to dictate our show, but the first half, you know, just as our base point, obviously WrestleMania, we're going to talk about that. It's a little rehash for Aaron, so he'll go last. And then the Raw After Mania. So that's really all we're doing tonight.
Perfect.
You know, but I'm sure the super chats will dictate what we talk about. But
Yes, they do.
Stay tuned, Jeff. All right, Gino, what's up?
Hey, not too much. You know, whether it lived up to the hype or not, WrestleMania weekend is always my second favorite season of the year. And so I'm just a little exhausted, still a little tired, catching up on some sleep, but a lot of wrestling. Got to meet Dave Scheffler in person and watch wrestling with him. So that was all fun. Thank you to the NoDQ family and Galaxy for everything. Looking forward to discussing the topics tonight with you.
All right, stay tuned. And I feel like throughout all the years, like WWE always, they'll have some momentum. Fans are excited. You don't hear much from the haters. But then there's a year or two and everything goes back to it's horrible, it's bad. And yet WWE exists, yet WWE stays big, you know, gets bigger over time, makes more money. It's just hilarious. I mean, they survived 1995 era. Like, they're never going to – how bad is it really ever going to get? Right. You can say now we're in the corporate era, you know, with commercials and you're making WrestleMania feel like Raw and SmackDown. Well, but people still watch. Big G, what's up?
Not much. Just got back from a little mini vacation with my wife. Celebrated my birthday. Watched WrestleMania. So we had a lot going on this past weekend. Finally home. Here to talk some post WrestleMania with you guys. And like I always say, let's get this ball rolling, baby.
Okay, you sound a little bit different. You using different equipment?
Yeah, I'm using my phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I can hear you. Hey, as long as your internet connection's good, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because you could win the virtual award too. Son, what's up?
Hey everybody, Son Goshoku here, ready to go ahead and talk a very lopsided WrestleMania, but hey, I'm ready. It's going to be a fun discussion. Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Thanks for being on. You know how this works. I'll be back to you shortly. Aaron Rift. And the super chat.
Yes, we got a couple super chats, which I'll get to in a few moments. We're coming off WrestleMania 42, which I think you could all agree with. Definitely was like a roller coaster. It had its ups and downs. Now, Big G, I mentioned roller coasters because due to the demand, I have brought back, you know it, baby, I have brought back the adventures of Big G and Jeff Jarrett. So here we go. How about a little roller coaster ride?
Woo! This is insane! Yeah! Hold on tight! Best ride ever! Woo! This is awesome! Hell yeah! Wait, what's happening? Hold on! What in the world is going on here, brother? What you gonna do, brother? Warrior is taking you down! Please be down, brother! Warrior destroy! This is dead!
When the fuck did it? When the
turn
I
into
get a
Final
mullet?
Destination 3.
So, I was gonna ask if G and Jeff Jarrett's heads like broke through like a barrier or whatever, but then Hogan and Warrior showed up like I got nothing. Like what the hell? So never mind. Wow. Yeah, I'm with JJ in the chat. What's the actual? Yeah. Wow.
Nice Hogan and Warrior, right?
Oh, dude, spot on AI.
Spot on.
Netflix is jealous now. This documentary Tron, it's not going to look near as good as that.
All right, somebody said it was better than WrestleMania Night 1, so there you go.
Jesus Christ.
We got a couple super chats already. Shout out to Dave Scheffler. Dave Scheffler, we love you, Dave. He says, I told Virtue that I would eat crow with The Rock not showing up, but we had a great ending to WrestleMania that will lead into my first PLE at Backlash. And Gino, you're going to that, right?
Yes, sir. We are going together.
Is Matthew going?
He also is. Yes,
Nice.
we got 3 seats in a row. We will be sure to send you guys pictures, and maybe hopefully we can tune into the recap after it's over.
You guys should do a video and send it to me. I'll post it on the channel.
Heck yeah, that'd be
You guys
awesome.
can get together maybe at the hotel or wherever you guys are staying. Are you guys staying at a hotel?
No, Matthew's staying at Dave's, and I'm staying at my house, and we're just driving into Tampa, no more than 40 minutes, and then coming out probably a little longer than that when you leave an event. But yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, if you get a chance to record something, feel free to send it to me.
I mean, it won't be as good as the AI Big G Jeff Jarrett videos, but we'll certainly try.
Is it at the arena where the Lightning play, G?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Shout out to the Cleaver, Colin Andrew. He says, have a killer show, guys. See you next week. Hashtag we the ones. We miss you, Cleaver, and he'll be on next week. We already got next week's panel lined up. We got a lot to talk about on this stream, and then next week I'm sure we'll have more to discuss because Backlash is coming up very soon. That's in less than 3 weeks' time. So make sure you guys follow Gino, Dave Scheffler, and Matthew on social media, and they'll be posting about the show. I'm sure it'll be very informative, and they'll have some input as far as what happens at that event. Now, shout out to Walter Cruz. So Walter got booted from the NoDQ review group. He says, my formal apology to Virtue. I'm sorry. Virtue?
Okay. Sure.
Apology accepted?
I mean, we got a tight-knit group, and I only like keeping people on that are routinely on. So, decisions will be made. And, I'm not a big fan either of people sucking up to people that are really bad people and fool other people. So I'll just leave it at that. And that's it. But no harm, no foul, no hard feelings.
All right, then. Well, Walter, you're welcome on any of the NoDQ videos that I'm in charge of. And as far as Virtue goes as the moderator, that'll be up to him if we get the reliable one back on the NoDQ review. All right, I'm all caught up. We can get this ball rolling, as Big G says.
We're going to talk about WrestleMania 42 first, right? Night 1. People will call it, the worst night of WrestleMania ever. I'm more like average. And then night 2, I think the consensus is it was really good, or at least above average. And, Roman Reigns is the world heavyweight champion. Cody Rhodes is still the WWE champion. So, Brock is allegedly retired. Obafemi beat him in 5 minutes. Aaron called it a squash match. I mean, in terms of time, yes, Brock's been in a lot of short matches, but Brock kind of beat Obafemi up a little bit, like early with the outside stuff. 3 German suplexes. I don't know if that's a squash. You're not going to see a jobber guy get any offense like that on another guy, but still, nonetheless, it was dominant fashion for Obafemi. And is Brock retired? I mean, you can't really go back on what he did now, because in the that moment won't mean shit unless it's a super heel move, but then it's kind of like sore loser Brock. So I think he's got to be done. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe he wants to go do the UFC one more time. I don't know if they got age divisions over there, or fight Gable Stevenson, who's over in UFC now. Who knows? Or just be on the farm boy, living his private life, living on his millions of dollars. But WrestleMania, what are our thoughts? Before of course, the whole Pat McAfee stuff, WWE, whether they were going to have Orton win the title or not, I think they were. I really do. I think they let that vocal minority of the diehard wrestling fans who do podcasts, who do the news, like the wrestling sites, that really said, he was interjected too late into the storyline. It doesn't make sense. but I think it's deeper than that. Like Russo said, Pat McAfee's a star and had every right to be involved in the main event, but as a story, do it 3 months earlier, maybe people wouldn't bitch, right? Build it in more properly. But TK, I think what the fans of the diehard marks are pissed about is they hear these things like TKO positioned him in there, shoehorned him in there, because they hear dirt and news, and therefore they think it's all real. They know everything, and because they're looking at it from corporate, like the evil corporate putting him in there, it ruins it for them because they wanted Randy and Cody to finish their legacy story. But the reality of it is with Pat McAfee, okay. And I don't want him to overshadow the whole WrestleMania thing, but to be honest with you, he's still being talked about a lot. The haters are writing columns talking about him on podcasts. They're glad that the stipulation, the Orton lost, so he's gone. But Pat McAfee was trained by Rip Rogers, right? He was trained to learn how to work in the ring. Remember when he was wrestling? He wrestled Adam Cole in NXT, and he wrestled some matches. He came out. People would hear his music at WrestleMania. They would all stand, cheer stand. They loved him. But what happened? What happened with McAfee? He was announcing, and then he went away to do college football. He went away. He became a part-timer. Now he's an ex-football player that's not really in the business. He's not dedicated to it. And all of a sudden, when he's back announcing, I start seeing on social media, well, he's not that good of an announcer now. I start seeing the venom of the mob, the IWC mob, starts building and building and building. And all of a sudden, they hate him. But yet he went back to wrestle, had a match with Gunther. He got a standing ovation the next night on Raw. Oh, but when he's not wrestling and he's a hype man and Randy Orton's manager for this match, all of a sudden it's the shits to them. Dude, TKO, if you hate them, they do it because he's got millions of people that watch him on Sports Pod. Like, he is the number one sports podcaster not named Kelsey. Travis Kelsey and his brother, okay? He's probably going to get $100 million deal or more for his next 5-year contract. That's a big deal. And TKO doesn't look at it like tunnel vision. Oh my God, they want to expand beyond wrestling marks. But oh no, the bubble always wins. And Triple H and his crew always hear, right? They hear the people on social media and they cave because they're in the wrestling bubble and they gatekeep the wrestling bubble. So I didn't have a problem with Pat McAfee. I thought it was very entertaining. I wish they would have had Randy win it and have Cody chase again and shove McAfee down their throats a little bit longer, because at some point he's going to go away, right? He's a big deal outside of wrestling. They all go away. But no, people have to complain about it. But nonetheless, I'm going to come over to Big G first. So my takeaways for night one, it was average, right? And the people below average. I mean, I don't know. You could dissect each match as to why they just hated Pat McAfee. He was the night one main event with Orton and Cody, and no matter what, that night was going to be no better than average for them before it even happened, right? Of course, night two, we get the ladder match, we get Brocco, but we get Roman, Punk, classic. Big G, what do you think here? Talk about whatever you want, right? We can't cover everything. It's a lot of matches, but high close, however you want to see fit.
Yeah. So we'll start with night one. For me, night one I thought was decent. It wasn't the best WrestleMania. You had its moments. You had Paige coming back, obviously, which I popped for. I mean, yeah, there was news that the day before she was coming back. But even so, even my wife, who doesn't watch wrestling that much, she popped for Paige coming back because she knows who Paige is. And then obviously them winning the women's tag team titles. We'll see what that leads into. But I'm happy for Paige. She's back in WWE where I think she belongs. She gets the second chance. I enjoyed the other matches on night one as well. And then, you had the main event, Orton and Cody Rhodes. And I thought that was, I on the prior NoDQs, I mentioned that I enjoyed the McAfee stuff. And I enjoyed McAfee being in there. He added a little sizzle to the steak, if that's my analogy to it. And then you had Jelly Roll in there, obviously take out Pat McAfee, and then McAfee came in later and, did the whole the crooked ref thing, trying to help Orton win, and then Orton turned on him, and Cody, did his thing. He won, and then afterwards, we saw the punt, which will hopefully lead into backlash with Orton and Cody, and we'll see where that goes. As far as night two was a little bit more better than night one. Like you said, you had fucking Oba and Brock. That was the perfect thing that WWE had to do. And then obviously we saw what happened with Brock at the end of the match. Even my wife was like saying no, like she wasn't like crying or anything, but like she was invested in Brock Lesnar, and even she was saying no, don't retire. So a non-WWE fan who doesn't watch all the time was invested in the Brock Lesnar retirement at the end. And then the other matches were good, and then the main event I thought was spectacular. I'm happy that Roman won. We'll see him hopefully a lot more now that he's won the world title, and hopefully we get some kind of reignited of the bloodline in WWE as baby faces this time, not as heels. And we'll see where that goes. So overall, I thought both nights were great. Nothing much else to complain about or talk about. So
I kind of wish Brock and Oba went a little longer. So even if it was filler stuff, like, because remember at the beginning of the match, they were doing the lockups and
right,
did like a bear hugs to each other, just old school, just throw some of that in there, because that crowd was still going to be hot. And if they
definitely
thought they were losing them during some of that stuff, they could have still went right into their German F5, last ride, whatever he calls it. But
yeah,
because if it is Brock's last match, it's like Brock's always been known to show up and have quick matches, be at the beginning of the show, get out of there.
Yeah,
it just felt like a little more if he sweated a little bit more. I mean, dude, I know they were both blown up because they're big dudes and whatnot. I wish it could have been just a little bit more. You could have still made Oba look dominant, but I wish Brock could have had that little bit gas left. Like, oh my God, he actually is going to win. No, Oba came back from it. I'm glad it wasn't a finisher spam though, so I will give him credit for that.
I was happy.
If it went longer, there would have been that chance where maybe it could have been a finisher spam, and that would have ruined it. But all right, thank you, Big G. I'm gonna go over to Son now. I usually go to him first when he's on, but Big G just does a recap. So now we know what happened at WrestleMania. Go ahead, Son.
All right, so like I said, beginning, I thought night it was a little lopsided. To me, night two completely blew night one right out of the water. I thought night one was decent, but night two was what got me way more hyped, and I thought it was really great. Just to go as far as with night one, Paige coming back, I thought was awesome. It's the emotional stuff that I think is what professional wrestling's all about. When you look at everything that Paige has been through in her life, and the fact that she was told she will never wrestle again in WWE, and to come back, awesome moment. It does suck, as I did want to see the Bella Twins get their big moment, but I thought that was definitely like the biggest highlight. I actually thought Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton was pretty decent. I enjoyed the thrill ride of just how vicious Cody Rhodes is being through the whole match. I'm like, this is the Cody we should have got last year against John Cena. And as far as Pat McAfee been in there, I think Pat McAfee is amazing in terms of his mic skills and just even in the ring and stuff. Everything he's done in WWE commentary, I think he's been entertaining, and I thought he was entertaining for the part that he did play in this story. The only thing is, as a longtime fan who has grown up watching Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, I would have loved to have seen more interaction with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. So you have Pat McAfee say his stuff, but also let's get some more one-on-one time talking about the legacy, both literally and figuratively, with both of them. I would have loved to see more of that in the storyline, but I did think it was better than last year's WrestleMania main event. And overall, like I said, I think Gunther and Seth Rollins pretty much kind of stole the show there, and everything else was just decent. And as far as night two, when it came to Oba, Femi, and Brock Lesnar, man, that got a big reaction out of me. I got out of my chair. I was like, let's go! Oba freaking Femi is here! Man, I wish him and Brock Lesnar would have been a little bit longer, but for what it got, I thought everything was almost done perfect. From the build-up to the story to the way they made every little move they did count. There was not one thing in that move and that whole match that did not count. And then the big win. And if this is the end of Brock Lesnar's career. What a heck of a way to go out. Man, like when Rock and Austin left, Brock Lesnar was my guy I gravitated towards as a kid and everything and stuff like that. And I followed his whole career going into UFC, back to WWE. So I definitely think one of the all-time great WWE careers. We have never, ever seen a guy who has had that type of power and athleticism. And when he wants to, they give him the chance. Brock Lesnar can be entertaining and stuff. And on top of that, the way he sells and stuff, there's a lot of good things. And I'm glad that I've been able to witness 3 of his best matches, I think, in person, against Cena at Extreme Rules 2012, Goldberg, WrestleMania 33, and then SummerSlam 2023 with Cody Rhodes. So those are just 3 all-time greats. And then, yeah, everything pretty much on night 2, I thought slapped. Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, I thought that was awesome. That finish with Rhea Ripley going in under Jade Cargill's legs and doing the riptide, that was clean. So that was good. And in the main event, the OTC CM Punk, 2 of my favorites currently, and CM Punk's been a long time favorite of mine. They absolutely went out there and destroyed that main event. Awesome. I think one of CM Punk's best WrestleMania matches, one of Roman's best WrestleMania matches, on top of some of the best Mania matches they've had in the last few years. So that was an absolute classic. I really wish that Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer got much more time than what they did, because those women actually really told a very great story heading into WrestleMania with the build-up. And it was like 8 minutes, like, man, I like this match, but why are we doing things so fast? I'm like, let this match cook and everything. So yeah, that's the only unfortunate. I get WWE had to do their long advertisements and everything and stuff like that. I get it. I understand it. But I feel like then just make the show longer if it needs to be. I think it's fair to your talent. It's fair to your fan base. It's fair to the producers that help put together these matches. Give them longer. Give these matches a little bit, 5 matches. I'm not saying everything has to go 40 minutes to an hour, but at least a solid 20-minute match if the story demands it. And I thought the story demanded at least a 15 or 20-minute match. But I go more into detail on my main channel, but that's kind of like the abridged version of what I thought as far as WrestleMania 42. Decent show. The first night kind of brought it down. The second night brought it up high, so I kind of had to put it like in the middle and everything. Had night 1 match night 2, then I think, hey, we might have a really great WrestleMania on our hands. So that's my thoughts for the most part.
So, son, you know, you were saying how I want Orton and Cody to cook, right? Because of their history, legacy.
Mm-hmm.
The WWE had it. They had it there. They had it through the summer, and they let the marks screw it up, because Cody wins that match, McAfee and everything. Like, oh no, they go into Backlash. They do the tag match with Jelly Roll McAfee. That's when you can get Pat McAfee out of there, have however that would work out. And then you still have Cody chasing Orton, who would have the title, into SummerSlam. That's your one-on-one. You know, get the McAfee stuff out of the way through Mania and Backlash, get through that tag match with Jelly Roll, and then you cook. Cody chases, Cody wins it back in time for a Street Fighter promotion in October. They had it right there. It was right there, and they let the marks screw it up. And McAfee would have been available the whole time, then he could go do college football. But people hate McAfee because he's an outsider now, part-timer, and that just blows my mind. They had it right there. It could have worked out. The marks would have complained, but you know, as you would have cooked it and cooked it and cooked it. And then you did the McAfee, the tag match, and got McAfee out of there. Oh my God, this was worth it. Now we get Cody and Randy, SummerSlam. But no, everything's always got to happen at WrestleMania, because think about it. We literally got Cody retaining, and then Orton at WrestleMania got his heat back to continue a feud. When does that happen at WrestleMania? That's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. It is bizarre. But anyway.
Just one more finishing statement too. I was gonna say is the thing is Pat McAfee, and I want to say this too as well with iShowSpeed. I have no problem with celebrities getting involved if they're passionate and fans like we are of the product. I think it adds. Shout out to iShowSpeed. This guy has consistently come into WWE and given viral moments. We were there, Aaron, when we saw it right where behind in Aaron's picture. We were there when he let Braun Breaker spear him. Randy Orton give him the RKO and that splash he did. And Pat McAfee, once again, you know he loves the business and he's a big fan of it, and he obviously knew how to rile up the fans. So when you can feel that passion, I think it makes the celebrity involvement good. And I'll conclude on the main event, as I kind of was saying to the build up to this: Randy, Cody, Roman, CM Punk, all four of these guys are established. So to me, it didn't really matter who ended up winning because it takes away from none of their legacy. So that's my final thoughts.
We'll talk about the night after Raw with
Yeah.
the whole Punk and Cody thing later, second half of the show. But that's an interesting thing. All right, thank you, son. I'm going to go over to Gino now. Gino.
Did Aaron have a question or something? Is that
I had
what
a
was going
comment
on?
in
Okay.
response to Mr. Tito in the chat room. He said he didn't like Oba no selling the F5. He did sell it. He didn't pop right back up from it. He was struggling to get up. It definitely took something out of him. He didn't just fall and then get right back up. It wasn't a no sell.
Yeah, and I honestly was wanting to see Oba potentially kick out of an F5, but I think that was even better. You kind of still protect the F5 by not having him even get pinned for it, so he doesn't have to kick out. Yeah, he was on one knee. He didn't just, So with that being said, the first match of night 2 and the last match of night 2, 99 out of 100% for me. That steel steps spot, I think, was the only thing that I would have done differently. Maybe have Punk, maybe have Roman get disqualified, and Punk's like, no, that's not how it's doing. And Punk restarts the match himself and then loses. I think that could have added a little bit more drama. Otherwise, I don't really know why they did the spot. And the Oba with Brock, I would have liked maybe a little bit more time in it. Doesn't have to necessarily be finisher fest, whatever, but they were about as perfect of matches as you can get. We everybody's going to say what they want to say about night 1, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And night 2 so delivered. And, everybody's going to be talking about the same thing. So I want to address some things that I don't think maybe will be brought up. That OG cutter to Rusev from the young OG Javon Evans was so clean, right? As Song was saying about the Riptide. That was wonderful. And come on, Mr. Whoop That, Mr. Lemon Pepper Stepper, Tricky 2 times. I was just so excited to see that. And there was a lot to love about this. Aaron, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Well, I wanted to ask you about that cutter because I did think it looked really cool. And I didn't think about it at the time because I was actually just enjoying the moment. But I did see some people criticizing it, saying that it was too obvious that Rusev jumped off the ladder into the move. And some people didn't like that. Do you have any problem with that, or were you just enjoying it for what it was? I mean, I didn't even think about it until I saw another clip from a different angle where you could see that Rusev had to jump off the ladder into the cutter.
Didn't Evan Bourne do that with the shooting star press before?
I mean, they do it all the time. We see it in WWE all the time.
If you really go back and look at a lot of those diamond cutter RKOs that are done that way, a lot of times you can see that if you really look for it, you can see that they're setting up for the move. We're supposed to just look at it as if it just happens quickly and we don't dissect it. But no, we have to dissect it because we're wrestling fans. See what I mean? Like the people complaining about that, you're looking too hard.
Right. You just can't enjoy things.
Enjoy the spot, but no, fans gotta. Oh, look at Rusev. He went down like this. Come on.
And to their, to the complainers' credit, like I guess I could see where they're coming from, but at a certain point. Right. Like and as a former, as a 2K video gamer, like, sometimes when you're doing a move, it kind of draws them in. Like that's part of wrestling. Every time Kevin Owens does a pop-up powerbomb, what are the person not jumping? Are they not jumping during suplexes? Like if that spot didn't pop you and you didn't enjoy that and you're looking for reasons to be mad, nothing will satisfy you. And I apologize if that's the way you live your life because that's why I wanted to address that because I popped so hard for that. Yeah, we knew it was coming. He better have done a big time OG cutter in that match. Otherwise, what's the point of him being in the match? And all these things, like sometimes they're choreographed. I mean, last year they had stuff that was super choreographed. One off the other rope, one off the other rope, one off the other rope, one off the other rope. Or when the women at Money in the Bank tried to all do it at the same time. Like that, I understand. But him doing the OG cutter, what is he supposed to grab his head off of the ladder as he's doing that and then potentially break dude's neck? Come on. Like it's professional wrestling. You guys need to really start to enjoy this stuff. The same thing with, guys, surprise. They're not always closed fist punching each other in the face. Like, where do they draw the line with their complaints about these selling of the moves? Like, you're supposed that's riling me up. And if I had sleeves that I'd be comfortable ripping off, I would rip them off. But
Jeff, were you going to say something?
I'll say it for him. Hey, at least Javon and Rusev didn't come out of the cutter with one guy's face blown off, from the landing like Cody did, right? These two professionals, two of the best ever, the world champion and the legend killer, can't pull off an RKO without Cody's face getting halfway blown to Kingdom Come. Javon and Rusev pulled off a cutter.
All right.
Yeah. And, to the same degree, I personally, I know there's some complaints online about Braun Breaker and his spear quality. To me, I look at it like 100% power, 0% damage, because he does it so safely. And you have to. You're running 23 miles an hour. You will literally cut somebody in half. And I enjoyed that. But at the end of the day, the highlight was Oba and Brock. It made me forget all about any sour grapes I might have had about the night before. Yes, Randy Orton should have won. All of the imagery, the WWE videos, the viral whatevers, all had Randy holding up the title. And you want to know why? Because that was getting people to click, and you might as well have just had him win the championship regardless. And he could still have RKO'd Pat McAfee and still won. He could have done everything the same. First of all, why wouldn't Pat have fast counted? Whatever. Then I'm now nitpicking stuff. But at the end of the day, the things I was most looking forward to, that ladder match delivered, Oba versus Brock delivered, the true main event, even though Oba versus Brock is the true main event and had that big night feel. Punk and Roman, no interference, clean match, like beautiful storytelling. We got two guys at the top of their craft, and I will talk until the end of time about Tricky 2 times. Mr. Whoop that. I am so excited. His entrance was baller. I hate this West Coast open stadium thing because it's still light out when they were going home and it was still daytime. Like, that takes away from the feel to me, because I don't want to get into the minutia of all that. But at the end of the day, I had a blast watching wrestling, watching WrestleMania, enjoying all the content Aaron and everybody was giving us. It was a spectacular time to be a wrestling fan. And the things I'm seeing people complain about is just whatever. It's your opinion. But at the same time, like, I had a great time with it, and I'm not ashamed of that.
See, Gino, people were saying Orton was hurt or is hurt back. I don't know. Like, maybe that's why he didn't win. So he could win. If he did everything he did in that match, plus afterwards, he could have won the WWE title. Not turn on Pat McAfee yet. Let's set up that tag match for Backlash. And then you could put Cody and Jelly Roll over. After the match, Randy, then RKO's Pat. Get out of here, Pat. That story's done. And now Randy's still the champion, working, whether he's hurt or not, he's working tag matches. He could take it easy. And then you could wait all summer to defend it against Cody at SummerSlam and then build that with your legacy story. But we're never going to get that now. McAfee's gone. But, good for the College Game Day and sports, fans, because they're going to get all Pat McAfee now. And so good for them. Anything else you want to add, Gino?
I'm sure some things will rile me up as I read the chat and some things, but let's move on because I want to end on a positive note. I really enjoyed, especially night.
I'm a Pat McAfee mark. Yeah, 100%. And I ain't ashamed of it.
No,
not
me
quite
either.
Roman Reigns level, but it just sucks. It's going to have to be more about sports, sports talk now. But anyway, Jeff Meacham, go.
Stupid computer. Anyway, sorry. Look, everybody kind of recapped and kind of said what I was going to say. I just enjoyed both nights. I was in the moment on a live stream reactions watch along deal with different people. I enjoyed it in the moment. I went back and watched them both nights, and I enjoyed it. And I get the complaints. I get the online narrative. I don't know about people having a right to complain. Like, they're just like these. It sounded very entitled that people have a right to come on here and bitch. It's like, okay, sure. That's great. If you're a paying customer and you're not satisfied with what you paid for, then yeah, complain, bitch, whatever. But I've heard it said from more than a few people in the hierarchy there. They're not booking to pop the television audience. They're booking to cater to the people that are paying to go to the shows. So it seemed like the people in the crowd were entertained and satisfied with the show. So I don't see what the issue is overall. I enjoyed WrestleMania for what it was. I enjoyed the fact that the guys I work with on a regular basis on the watch-alongs had more people watching their streams than the NBA playoffs did. That was kind of a cool thing for a wrestling fan. That was cool to have the NBA be outdrawn. That was fun. But, as far as Pat goes, I don't know if he took away from the story so much. I think people just got way too wound up on that.
Yeah. You brought that up, Jeff.
Yes.
I saw somebody in the chat. Oh, he was shoehorned. TKO shoehorned him in. Okay. Shoehorned him in to IWC Wrestling Mark, who reads wrestling, has to know everything about wrestling.
Right.
But to sports fans that watch football and sports and listen to sports and maybe don't watch WWE, and now they hear about it and they see about it because ESPN, that's not shoehorning to them.
No.
Those are customers that they're trying to get. It's
Uh-huh.
shoehorning to wrestling fans and marks.
So,
You know what I mean?
Virtue,
And I get it, right? But sometimes you got to upset your fan base, your core fan base, because they're going to watch anyway, and you're going to make them happy again anyway, to try to lure new people in. And that's just gone. The art of that is gone.
No, it is. And, go back to 1985, when the WWE put everything on the line. Were we catering to were they catering to the hardcore audience, bringing in Mr. T, putting him in the ring? Are you kidding me? The boys were pissed Mr. T was in the ring, having Liberace be a timekeeper, having the inside wrestling people were losing their damn minds. But how many people showed up to the Garden? How many people showed up to the closed circuit moments? How many people watched Saturday Night Live the night before and popped for T and Hogan being on with Billy Crystal's character? It just worked for the time. Now, I understand it's not the WWE putting their corporate lives on the line at WrestleMania anymore, but it is a completely different business presentation. So they have to cater to audiences that are going to deliver what is the bottom line, which is revenue.
Yep.
Yeah.
People from the outside world are going to watch because of Pat McAfee.
This blows my mind because it's not like Johnny Knoxville was inserted as Randy Orton's manager. It's Pat McAfee, who has wrestled, who has entertained at WrestleMania, got through segments with Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And Russo, to his point, Russo said, if it was done 3 months earlier, that vocal minority wouldn't have chattered as much, because it's funny how story, logic. But I don't think that people that don't watch WWE, they don't want that. They want the holy crap, Pat McAfee is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. We got to watch now.
Why is it so bad when a guy who had previous in-ring experience in WWE, who was an outside personality, comes in, but when Bad Bunny gets brought in, not a goddamn bit of negativity around it? Okay, that makes no sense.
I was hard on Bad Bunny at first, but then I saw him work, and right, I eat crow. I'm like, okay, well, he did
100%.
Put in the work. He did, yeah.
Yeah, to that point, Jeff, and your point as well, Virtue, right? Like, Pat was an announcer for a long time. He's had actual matches in the WWE, and people are complaining that he's interjecting. He's whatever. It doesn't make sense, was the thing that I probably read and heard the most. It doesn't make sense. Oh, here we go. It made 0 sense for him to join. But I don't see anybody talking about how a rapper joining Trick Williams makes no sense. I'm not complaining about either, but how does Lil Yachty getting himself involved with Trick Williams make any more sense than Pat McAfee? At least Pat McAfee, who's a true wrestling fan, who's bringing more eyes to the product that we love, potentially building more fans for the company. That might be a bad thing in some people's eyes, because now they don't have to try as hard and blah, 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 blah. But I just find it, I don't know the right word I'm looking for. Maybe I do, and I don't want to say it, but to not have a problem with Little Yachty being there, but having a problem with Pat McAfee is, I don't know. It just feels funny.
Did Bad Bunny not main event a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
And it was
he
fantastic.
did. Yes, he did. But, it wasn't a WrestleMania one, so it's not the true main event. Sorry.
Massive crowd reaction.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thanks, Gino. Back to Jeff.
Oh,
By the way, we'll be talking more about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Even though he won, this whole CM Punk thing, because we're going to be talking about Raw After Mania, obviously, and Roman.
And you know what? I'll even give the people watching a little bit of insight. We were talking right before we went on the air. Virtue's got very little reason to bitch right now. Roman Reigns is a world champion. He's back on top of the world. Like, who cares, right?
By the way, I was
come on here and do the review because it entertains everybody.
For that match, because I just wasn't feeling the promos. But you know what? The match told all the story. It's like they saved all the storytelling for the match. So kudos to Roman and Punk. That was
exactly.
Was
yeah,
it the best
that match was
of all time? No, but was it a legendary one? Yes.
That match was for everybody that bitched about Punk, being back and, all the things that went down in AEW, and for everybody that bitched about Roman Reigns being on top for so long. Those guys went, almost 35 minutes? Absolutely no real shenanigans of substance other than the low blow from Punk.
They made one mistake. They made one mistake, or the steel chair, or the steel.
Oh, yeah.
And the ref was looking at it. I wish there was like a rule.
Yep.
Well, if you hit somebody with the steel steps, it's part of the ring. Like, I wish they would have kind of, even if they bullshitted their way. But
it's and for me, that was a spot much like the referee spot in Becky and AJ. Why was Becky not disqualified for manhandling Jessica right in the path of destruction? That should have been disqualification. So if we're gonna get on the referee for that spot, let's talk about the refereeing all weekend. It did not take away from the masterpiece that was the match for me personally. What's taken away from the weekend more for me than the stuff on WrestleMania in the ring is the interactions between the people, on the roster and fans, and us interacting with the fans apparently is pissing me off now. So I'm gonna pass the baton now before I get worked up again.
Are you good?
Temu Palpatine signing off for now.
Yeah. Well, think about it, Jeff. Though I think that stuff's always happened a lot, but maybe the wrestlers now feel the need to get it out there so their name spreads through the news. I don't know. I think it's always happened. There's always been those weird fans that stalk wrestlers. The wrestlers, it's getting caught more on camera with the Punk thing, and wrestlers just have to put it out there on podcasts. Remember, they would keep that a little more secret.
No, and that's fair. And I think people, just from my perspective, being, however long I've been freaking doing this, it seems like people just want to complain for the sake of complaining. I don't understand. Who honestly cares long term if the payoff of the match is what it is? Did Randy, as us 6 fans in here, did the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes match deliver as a viewer?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. If it didn't, was it really because of Pat? Did it not deliver because Pat was directly involved? That's my thing. Nice. If Pat's involvement directly negatively impacted the match, the payoff in the ring, then we have a bitch. My bitch about Pat being involved was he got taken out. I don't even mind him coming back in to be a crooked referee, but running in a neck collar was a little rough for me. I'm not going to lie. That was a little much for me. I'm like, okay, if we're running with a neck collar, we should be, kind of balancing the movement here. But I digress.
We're trying to pass to Aaron because who knows how long we're on tonight. Go ahead.
Just one last thing. Speaking of the neck collar, Pat, even after WrestleMania, is still wearing his neck collar on his show. He's that big of a fan of the business that he's continuing to promote the gimmick and the work of it because he cares about the business.
He took it off. He said the X-ray. He finally took it off.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad he's okay.
Well, he had it at the Pens and Flyers game too. They had showed a picture of him in the crowd with the neck brace on.
It's just hysterical to me. But if he's going to wear it after the fact.
About Pat McAfee, according to Tito, after WrestleMania, he has to write about it. He has to talk about it. He has to say we're talking about McAfee. You can't keep McAfee out your mouth. That's Pat McAfee for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I like him. All right, Gino, anything else? Jeff, anything else? So we can go to Aaron?
No, I'm good. I'm good now.
Okay. And we're not going to be talking about Pat McAfee on Raw After Mania because he wasn't there. All right. Aaron.
Big G.
Yeah, I just wanted to say just a congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. So
Oh yeah, that's fair.
had to throw that out. That was a big moment.
That was cool.
All right,
All
we
right.
got a lot of super chats, so I'm not going to say too much about WrestleMania and especially Pat McAfee, since we spent about 20 minutes discussing Pat McAfee, and I think the people in the chat room are at their wits' end with this. But
There was more Pat talked on this review than I think at WrestleMania itself.
And if they're not down with that, we got 2 words for them.
What are those 2 words?
Go away.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to be nice.
So I will read off the super chats and respond to those, and then we'll move on to the main topic. So Dave Scheffler sent in $10. Thank you, Dave. He says, "You were all right about people looking too close as Gino. I went crazy for Javon's move. I thought the ladder match was fun. Oba and Brock Lesnar, even though it was short, did the job that it needed to do." I agree totally with Dave Scheffler.
Yep.
I love night 2. And I thought that the main event, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, was one of the better WrestleMania matches in a very long time. The main event of night 1, it was all right, but I do think Randy Orton should have won the title and put Cody Rhodes in the challenger role for just a little bit. Do the tag match, finish up the Pat McAfee storyline. Pat said his story is done, but I kind of wanted to see the tag match. Like, I think that would have been a fun match at Backlash. So I'm a little bummed out, but you know what? Maybe Pat goes back on his word. He is a heel after all. So we'll have to see what happens on SmackDown. And you guys can check out my recaps. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail about WrestleMania, but let's go ahead and get back to some of the super chats. Psycho Jet Black is here, so we really better get moving with this. Thank you, Psycho. Psycho says, problem with some complainers is not just that they are unsatisfied, it's that they're upset over people enjoying what they don't. WrestleMania 42 was good. That is very true, and I've seen so many comments. People are hating on me, saying you're an idiot for defending Pat McAfee. Well, I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it. Let people like what they like, and if you don't understand the art or the vision or the performance, by all means, you're entitled to that. That's your opinion. That's cool. I have my opinion. You have your opinion. We talk about it, but to name call people because you disagree with them, like, it just shows you really don't have much of an argument to begin with. So,
and that's why I was so fixated on Pat McAfee, because I love exposing those fans. Anyway, go ahead, Aaron.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. He says, the Chewbacca defense does not make sense.
I understand that reference. I didn't understand any of the song lyrics that he said, but that's a South Park reference to Johnny Cochran defending, anyway.
Yeah, that's a good Simpsons episode right there.
Oh, South Park, right?
Oh, South Park. Excuse me. Yeah, South Park.
I don't watch
thank you for that.
So.
Yeah. Well, remember the South Park episode Simpsons did it. That's another good one.
Oh, great episode.
With Professor Chaos. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Jeff looks like a Temu Emperor Palpatine. Who's that?
Palpatine from
Aaron.
Oh my God, Aaron.
The guy to be like, young Skywalker. Yeah, the guy that would talk
Yes,
like that.
do it. Give in to your hate, Tito.
Would you rather
Come
talk
to
about
the dark side.
Oh wait, no, we don't want to the dark side. Never mind.
of Psycho Jet Black super chats later? See?
Yes, see, it's all fun.
Good.
Oh, now this is
here we go.
Another topic from WrestleMania weekend. So I'm sure many of you have seen the CM Punk video with the fan that was filming Bailey and AJ Lee up close, and Punk just knocked the phone out of the guy's hand. So, and there have been other incidents too. Drew McIntyre said people were coming at his family, and X-Pac said he was assaulted. Booker T said somebody was filming him in the bathroom. Like, there was some.
Dude, these are human beings. Stop acting like stupid idiots.
People that did all that, those marks, they're the ones that hate Pat McAfee.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right.
Yeah, and people hounded Randy at his hotel when he was just trying to. I don't know if you saw that video too. So that was another thing from this weekend. And you know,
People are stupid. Like, for real. Get a life.
I love the fact that there's trying to be blame placed on WWE, not providing enough security and the hotel just passing the buck to them for lack of security. It's like, you're a hotel keeping, not keeping your guests safe from creepy people just randomly walking through. That's a little off.
Mm-hmm. Especially
you
in
would
Vegas.
You would think if Vegas and the people there want WWE, like, you should be prepared to accommodate them and make sure there's plenty of security for the wrestlers. But yeah, as Psycho Jet Black pointed out, like, in a different era, that fan might not have been so lucky. Like, with all the cameras there, CM Punk has got to keep his cool, but wrestlers in the 80s, if somebody did that, that guy might have gotten his ass kicked. What's that Simpsons meme? He'll get the help he needs as the guy's being dragged to the back and then he's getting beat up.
If that would have happened prior to the territory system breaking down, you would have never seen that guy alive again. Let's just be clear. I mean, really.
Yeah. Especially in Vegas.
Especially in Vegas. Oh, yeah.
It really.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Aaron, you and I have abandoned people in the desert in Vegas for less offensive stuff than that. Just saying.
A lot of people have been abandoned in the desert in Vegas. That kind of guy could have been in out in the desert, if you know what I mean. So
he could have been a great addition to one of our segments.
In the 1980s, before the cell phones, and in that era of wrestling, if you disrespected a wrestler like that, you might not have. As the Wolfpack song goes, you might end up in a body bag.
Yeah. At least.
Was glad to hear that theme at the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yeah, right? That was cool. I enjoyed that.
But I just want to say, it really comes down. Treat people how you want to be treated, with respect. Honestly, if you see these wrestlers in person, be respectful. Read the room first. Look at what they're doing. I think it's okay to go up and ask, hey, I'm a big fan of your work. Could I have a picture? If they say yes, cool. If not, respect their boundaries. Say, okay, I understand. Thank you. And then go about your business. It's that simple.
Exactly.
Is that how you want people, for the people out there to do this, is that how you want people coming to you and mobbing you all over the place and stuff when you're just trying to have some private time with your family?
Well, and to the point of, people, getting their comeuppance for it, the guy that was accused and, definitely proven to have assaulted Elena Black definitely got his receipt. So it's, it's just people got a people, and that's so sad. Like, just let them do their job, enjoy the entertainment aspect of it, and don't have such high, not expectations, but entitlements about your interactions with them.
Thank you. All right, enough about the evil marks that stalk wrestlers. Aaron.
Well, Psycho Jet Black has one more here, saying, imagine these people doing it to Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
They won't, because Brock Lesnar would destroy them. They target the women, they go up to the women and try to take pictures. And you see some of those photos too that they take, like,
it's awful.
Brock was on Pat McAfee's show last year, and he grabbed the microphone and said, "How dare you!" Literally just with like all his viciousness, and Pat was like, "Oh."
Yeah. Aaron, I said it when Brock first came back with his different haircut. I'm not going to Brock Lesnar and telling him from the neck up he looks stupid, because from the neck down he'll destroy me. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not messing with Brock Lesnar.
There's a guy that like wore a Pornhub shirt while taking pictures with women's wrestlers.
What is the thought process? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, there was some crazy things, but yeah, we'll move on from that. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, I have a complaint. The sandwich was a little dry. You guys know that reference?
Familiar enough where I remember the quote. I can't tell you where it's from, though, but I have heard that quote before. It kind of wildly popped me, I guess. It was funny enough for $2.
All right. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Cleaver Colin Andrews sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. So did Vito mention me? Apparently Vito said something about me that I didn't go to Las Vegas. But anyways, I don't know if you guys saw this video. There was this guy at the WrestleCon that was causing a scene, and Vito ended up grabbing the guy and yelling at him. Like, anybody see that clip and have an opinion on that?
It was all over TikTok. All over TikTok.
Yeah. It just people not realizing and reading the room. And as far as Vito's always going to give you shit, Aaron. So
I was texting him after that, and
Yeah.
He had a match at like 3 a.m. It was weird.
Oh my God.
Match
I was on a watch long
It was
string with a couple of our guys from the other channel. It was him and freaking Vampiro and PCO. They started at 3. It's like, guys,
so he was,
folks home.
but he
Go
was
home.
thinking about that. He was in character as much as he could be at that signing, and he did old school 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
He was.
Yep.
He didn't punch him. He was grabbing his hair, trying to keep the guy in check without really like making an assault. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to protect Big Vito and his brand.
Yeah. And, that's great. But yeah, to your point, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you're going to be a little grumpy the next day if you're starting your match at 3 a.m.
All right, we got a couple more super chats here. So we're going to be talking about Raw and just discussing what happened. But yeah, the Street Profits are back. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2, says Montez Ford is great at coming back. And hopefully the Street Profits have a good run here. They had some time off, and I don't know if Montez is ever going to get that singles run or not, but they're back, and they're on Monday Night Raw now, so we'll see what happens with them. And I guess the next super chat here will be the transition into the main event topic, Virtue. So Mr. Anderson wants to know if WWE did a secret draft with Fatu challenging Roman Reigns on Raw and looking like CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. That's what I was thinking after watching Raw. Like they're just going to quietly move a few people and not do an actual draft this year. I think they should. Like it draws ratings. Why not? Papa Gino, what do you got to say about that?
Right. Why would they do a secret draft when the NFL draft is coming up? Like that is you want to talk about filler episodes of SmackDown and Raw? Like that is something you could use for a whole week, maybe 2 weeks, and it would make no sense for them to do it in secret. But the brand split really hasn't held the strict rules that it's had in the past. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought the draft was over in the brand split because people are just coming and going and stuff. You got Rio over there, and then I guess you're saying goodbye to EO. EO's now going to stay on Raw, and then Rio's going back to SmackDown, and you got the World Champions. You got Jacob Fatu. So I'm like, okay, it's clear what WWE's told us in the storyline over last year. People are just gonna come and go as they please. That's what they've told us in the story.
So we're caught up now, Virtue, and I just wanted to note that. The SmackDown rating came out, and it was their biggest number since September, the pre-WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. And, the one where Pat made his first appearance, that one was really high. So those numbers went up when Pat was involved. We'll see how they do now that he's gone. And shout out to Walter. Walter sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. So apparently Vito mentioned me. He's going to hate me for that one. Vito mentioned me in Virtue. He was joking. He said, y'all sent me, and JJ, instead of coming yourself, you sent bottom of barrel for NoDQ. The NoDQ, the right. D team.
The NoDQ crew did not send Walter and Jay up, I promise.
Should have brought Gino or Noah because they would have been by far the best dressed guys there other than Vito and maybe a few others.
Well, we need to know to stay home and call the action for us. So, anyway.
Oh, we got one more here from Psycho Jet Black, and thank you, Walter, for the insight on that. Psycho Jet Black says, to quote Scott Steiner, "The numbers don't lie," and they spelled disaster for the Pat McAfee haters. Anyways, Virtue, we are caught up. We'll transition now to the main
RAW After Mania. I mean, they brought out, Punk, he cut his promo, moving on fairly quickly from losing to Roman Reigns, and then out comes Cody. So, how do we, the fans that are upset that we did this thing with Pat McAfee, well, we're going to make it all better for them. We're going to tease for the future feud of Cody and Punk, and we're really going to make them face off, and sometime it's going to happen, probably this year. And so that happened, right? Let's cater that diehard fan base. And, granted, that'd be great. I'd like to see it. We're never going to get Dwayne versus Cody, so why not Punk versus Cody? And then Jacob Fatu, right? Fresh off of beating Drew McIntyre, getting back in his bloodline business and wants to go after the head of the table. Maybe a little bit early. I don't know, because, I don't know. They did the Jay stuff early with Roman, and Roman beat him, and then Jay kind of had his comeuppance later. but I always looked at Fatu as the guy to become the head of the table, but that might change now. Even though he's not Samoan, they might be saving that for Obafemi. But what does everybody think? Raw After Mania here. Son, go. I'll start with you.
All right, so Raw After Mania. Man, it looks like WWE is getting going with the youth movement, and I am all here for it. As I said, when Roman won the world title and CM Punk, or the Rumble, and then CM Punk, and they were going to be main eventing, I was like, there's a whole year here for Triple H and his creative team and TKO to all start looking at all these amazing young talent they have on the rise, so that way when we get to 2027, we can be looking at all these new talents going ahead, main event in WrestleMania and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as what I did enjoyed that we got Ethan Page called up. I enjoyed his work in AEW and glad to see he's getting the big spotlight here in WWE. It was great to see Sol Ruka, especially with Bianca Belair, one of my favorites of the past few years. But yeah, she's probably gonna be gone for a while, rightfully so. I'm happy for her and Montez Ford. But yeah, now this is a great opportunity for a lot of the new women to step up and everything. Also, as far as Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, two of the big dream matches I wanted to see with CM Punk when he returned to WWE was Roman, Cody. We got a fantastic Roman match out the way, and now I think, yeah, you go with him and Cody, and they've certainly been teasing it for quite a long time, so that's looking good. Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns, another big match I've been wanting to see and have them go at it on the microphone, so I'm looking forward to that. As far as the bloodline coming back, this is the way I'll compare it. It feels almost like, when you have those movies where the sequels, they knocked it out of the park, but then they keep doing it over and over, and you're like, I hope we're not going to get diminishing return here. Putting Jay and Jimmy back with Roman, I was almost kind of looking forward to seeing, all right, let's get babyface Roman, or more like tweener Roman at this point, because he never really changed his character that much. The fans just started cheering him. But getting this type of Roman who's going to be by himself, winning his matches on his own like he did against CM Punk, I'm like, oh, there's something for that. And then with the Usos, they go off doing their own thing. So if you're putting the Usos and Roman back and you're doing this bloodline thing again, I'm just hoping they can come up with some new ideas that will make things fresh, because that whole saga from when Roman basically forced Jay into the bloodline group to the ending on Netflix where Roman defeated Solo, that was spectacular. I would compare it, like, for those who are Disney fans, Toy Story 1 through 3, that finish, amazing. And then they came back with 4, and it's like, okay, the ending was there, and then it got 5, and I'm like, it looks interesting, but are you pushing your luck? And that's just what I hope doesn't happen with this version of the bloodline. They got great chemistry. Hopefully they can find new ways to do that storyline and everything as far as whatever they go from here. And I'm thinking ultimately where we're going here, Obafemi, he did call out Roman and on the post show, and I'm like, this is great. I think they have a great opportunity to make Roman be the Rock of 2002 at SummerSlam, and Oba be that Brock Lesnar, give him that big push, King of the Ring, have him beat Roman at SummerSlam, because I figure that's a big reason why they also probably wanted to put the title back on Roman, to have Roman, he's the guy who's been the top face of the company for the last 10 plus years. So now, how best way to crown that next guy, we have him be the one put over Oba, as it would mean a lot more, I'm guessing, with that. So I'm looking forward to where it goes. I'm glad they're doing us fresh matches with Roman Reigns. So hey, we might get a Gunther Roman match, maybe a Braun Breaker Roman match, all up to the guy where it's like, okay, Oba's the one guy that's going to be able to beat Roman. So overall, I think we're headed in some good direction. Can't wait to see SmackDown, Trick Williams. So I feel like it's a good direction. This is the way I want to see WWE pushing in those new talent. I can't wait to see Paige get in there and be in matches with a lot of the women, because when her generation of NXT wrestlers came up, she had to retire. Now we can see her go ahead and throw down with those women as well as to new. So I think there's some good things to look forward to as we move forward here with WWE, and I'm glad Roman's back full time, at least for the summer, as he says.
Thank you, son. All right, I'm going to go over to Big G now. Big G, Street Fighter comes out in October, and we're about 6 months away. And
yes,
who are the two main champions in WWE?
Cody and Roman.
Stars of Street Fighter. Two of the stars of Street Fighter. Go ahead.
Yep. Overall, and I enjoyed Raw last night. Sol Ruka coming up from NXT. I've enjoyed Sol Ruka when she had first debuted down in NXT. Now looks like she's gonna be. Well, I don't think she's gonna be thrown right away into a Liv Morgan storyline, but her first match on Raw was with Liv Morgan. Maybe it'll be a triple threat with her and Stephanie at the next pay-per-view or on Monday Night Raw, whatever. But happy for Sol. Happy for Ethan Page coming up on Raw. He's been in the business for a long time too, so we'll see where that goes. It looks like he's going to be thrown into the IC title picture, which is pretty cool. You could use more contenders in the IC title for Penta. Street Profits are back. I'm happy for them. Always been a big fan of the Street Profits. What else? Cody and Punk, that's been a long time coming. I'm sure that'll probably be a WrestleMania 43 feud, and we're just going to get like a year-long storyline between the two, which I'm fine with. Then you had, at the end, Jey Uso, Jimmy, and Roman come out together, and I'm happy for it. Like I said, hopefully we get a babyface version of the Bloodline, and like Son just said, something different. You don't want to, just like Hollywood, they keep on making sequels and sequels and sequels. And, hopefully we'll get something good out of this Bloodline version too. So overall, it'll be interesting. We're getting Joe Hendry live in Compton next week, so we'll see how that goes next week. So I know Virtue's not a big fan of Joe Hendry, so we'll see what happens on next week with Joe Hendry and hopefully make a fan out of Virtue. But other than that, your typical Monday Night Raw After Mania, it used to be this big spectacle, but now people expect a lot out of it, and it's just a regular Monday Night Raw.
I want to see Obafemi versus Joe Hendry.
Dude, Obafemi's like, the Obafemi coming out reminded me of Roman Reigns coming out after Mania 33 and saying, "This is my yard now." He's like, the ruler has arrived. Drop the mic. I was like, that's all that needed to be done. That's all that needed to be done with Oba.
Imagine they do a zoom into his face smiling before he gets picked up to the power bomb he does.
Perfect. That's all Oba needed to do.
All right, Gino.
So, Raw After Mania used to be this massive. They're still touting it as the best Raw of the year. And that was when people could afford to fly in from overseas and buy SmackDown, whatever, the one night of WrestleMania as it was, and it was on Sundays, and then the Monday after. And it used to be where they were people who cared about the business. The crowd last night was not the crowd that I want to see for a Raw After Mania. They got loud in some points for sure, but this whole thing where they're basically on their feet from the start of the show to the end of the show, and they're super loud and doing all this stuff, it's just not the case anymore. These rich people who don't care about it are just bringing their kids, and that's why you hear, like, when Rhea comes out and things like that, the cheers are that of children, and I'm sure women and stuff like that, but like children. And there's the sound of a crowd is different when they're grown men, potentially with a little bit of beverage in them, screaming and cheering at the top of their lungs. And we were just missing a little bit of that. Now, having said that, Roman's old music seems like it's here to stay, and he seems like he's here to stay at least until SummerSlam. So sign me up. More Bloodline drama. This time, Jacob Fatu has built something out of himself. He's no longer I Love You Solo. He is now man enough to challenge the head of the table, the tribal chief. Fantastic. The Street Profits are back. They look great, and they're using their old music again. None of this, we want the smoke. No, they've got their original music and no red cups. So I think it's the best of both worlds. We've got teases for Punk and Cody, and say whatever you want about whether or not it's to appease people or whatever. I'm still here for that match. Period. End of discussion. Oh, yeah. Sol Ruka, more than overdue. She is tailor-made for the main roster already. Put a title on her, put the Intercontinental, put the US title on her. Let's see what she can do. Give me a Soul Snatcher every week. The Royal Rumble was weaker for having only had one Soul Snatcher and not like her going to every corner and hitting people. I think that we might get something like that. Paul Heyman's sole focus is now on the Vision. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Brock. We have Ethan Page coming in now. He's been more than ready to join, and I love his character and his theme song and the way he was just blasé. Oh, I don't really care if Rusev's beating up this guy. I'm going to not get myself hurt. Very smart heel tactics. I'm just not sure why they had Trick Williams and Page and the Bellas in the crowd, and then they're and like you could have had like they're there, have their music play, let the crowd get hyped for them. And then you're saving things like Joe Hendry for next week. It's like, why are we saving it? This is supposed to be the Raw of the year. Throw everything you have. Maybe Joe Hendry's not there, so he can't be there. But like, you just got these people who were stars, who were worthy of a WrestleMania match and winning titles at WrestleMania, and they're relegated to front row seats. Like,
hey, Gino, wrestlers should never be in the front row. They should be in the press box. The celebrities in the front row is fine. Wrestlers, don't put them with the fans.
I completely agree. Even if you got to buy a whole box like Jay did to watch a match, like, again, them being in the front, they should have just played their music and let people cheer them. The Bellas and Page got a big pop. Imagine how much better it would have been if their music hit. Come on. Like, they're there.
I wanted to see Paige have an emotional moment because she had to retire after WrestleMania, and then all these years later, she's back at WrestleMania, and they just put her in the crowd. Just to add to your point, Gino.
Tune in next week for the follow-up. Like, it's like they don't know how to do cliffhangers, and they don't know how to promote for the next week, and it speaks to the TKO issues. But at the end of the day, when I heard that Jacob Fatu mentioned Backlash, whew, I was about ready to fall asleep. You know, it's been a long weekend. And I'm like, yes, please feed me more. Oh, wait, I don't know if are we allowed to say that? Anyway, I'm still looking forward to Roman Reigns. If I get to see Roman Reigns, I did not expect to see Roman Reigns with or without the title at Backlash. If I can get that and an Io versus Asuka, oh man, it's shaping up to be a very, very good birthday month in the month of May for me.
All right. Thank you, Gino. Yeah, Roman's going to be here a while, at least through the summer.
By the way, since you mentioned the ride back reference, condolences to him for he had lost his mother recently.
Oh, that's sad.
All right, moving over to Jeff, who won the virtual award tonight, by the way.
Oh no, 100%. First of all, can you all hear me? Oh, Jesus Christ, get the Andre shot going. Sorry. Okay, that's better. So Gino said pretty much everything I had lined up to say.
All
so
right, Aaron, what do you think? Oh, okay, sorry.
What happened?
Nothing. I was going to move it on to Aaron since you said Gino said everything. You were going to.
Yeah. It's. I had everything lined up, and then I won the Virtue Award, and the points were made. So yeah, it was. I enjoyed watching the episode. I thought Roman being back and saying he's going to be a full time was great, and let's see where they go at Backlash. I'm still not convinced the Usos are going to remain with Roman, though. I think that's going to be a plot twist.
Okay, fair enough. That's all you got.
That's all I got, brother. Hey, I'm just freaking. The damn equipment's tired. So am I.
Okay, fine. Over to Aaron.
All right. Well, we got a couple more super chats here, so I won't say too much about Raw After Mania. I did enjoy it. I have that recap over on the NoDQ YouTube channel. I enjoyed it, but yeah, it's not gonna be like it was. I'll tell you when it'll be like the peak 2011, 2012, 2013. When WrestleMania is finally in London, that's when you're going to get all those international fans. And the Raw After Mania, that is going to be a must-see show. But until then, I don't think they're going to be what they once were. It's just another episode of Raw. You know, they did a little bit. We got Ethan Page and we got Sol Ruca. So we did have a few call-ups. Also Joe Hendry, but they're saving him for next week. And we got the return of the Street Profits, and they set up Backlash. And really, they had to set up Backlash because of such a small gap between WrestleMania and Backlash. And speaking of Backlash, We got a super chat here from Dave Scheffler. He says, thoughts on the other Backlash matches other than Roman? Well, Gino mentioned Io Sky and Asuka, which I would expect them to do since it was not at WrestleMania. And we'll probably get a couple of rematches. I hate to say it, Dominic and Finn Balor once again. And we got a super chat here from Mr. Anderson. He said, Raw was good, but why continue Dominic versus Finn Balor? Because I don't think they know what else to do with these guys. I think Balor should go over to SmackDown. I think, get him away from Judgment Day and just give him a fresh start on SmackDown. He beat Dominic, so why is this feud still going on? It's like when Darby Allin beat John Moxley, but then he's got to go after which guy was he targeting? One of those bottom tier guys in the Death Riders. I can't even think who it was. That's how irrelevant he was. But anyways, once you cut the head off the snake and you beat the top guy, why do you have to go down and fight the bottom guys? I get that Balor has a history with JD McDonough, but I don't know. I just don't care about seeing another Finn and Dominic match. And yeah, of course, Dominic can beat him now that he's going to wrestle as regular Finn Balor. So to me, it's kind of anticlimactic, and I'd rather they just move on. Anyways, we are going to move on from that. And we got one here from Kratos. He sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, on my retirement tour after I quit watching along with Brock and John Cena, I'll book on 2K every Monday and Friday unless Brian Gerwitz or some good writers come. I did see some internet speculation about Gerwitz that maybe if The Rock wins this TKO Triple H power struggle or whatever, like he would end up being the writer if Triple H ever got fired. Like, that could happen. I would never rule him out coming back at some point. Virtue, you don't think so?
I don't know. He teased so much with Roman, with Cody, and then, whether something with him and Triple H really happened behind the scenes, which has kept Rock away, he just let a lot of fans down. Like, I understand with your Hollywood schedule if you can't deliver both, but like he didn't. He did the tag match, but then you shouldn't have teased anything else.
Nope.
Don't tease big stuff or, and then did this with Cena, and then that was it. Never come back, and didn't even punish Cena. He just there's a disconnect with Rock and WWE right now because maybe of Triple H. Maybe they're not getting along. He's so far into Hollywood, so many big projects. And usually I'm the one that says, nope, Rock will come back. His heart's always there. Big G's like, he ain't ever coming back. Well, now I'm on the Big G train like he used to be. Believe it when I see it, but I don't think I'm ever going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Gino, what would you like to add to that?
I just want to say, The Rock was in Vegas for CinemaCon a day or two at the latest prior to WrestleMania. If he really, really wanted to, and as a member of the board, you would think he would be a little bit more invested in, especially with all the vitriolic hate that even a vocal minority is displaying. You think he could find a way to, I don't know how movie schedules and whether they film on the weekends or not, but you think he could have found a way to go down the street and make an appearance or do something. So, I didn't expect him to, but he was right there. If Cena can make the drive from Hollywood where he's filming, which is a 3-4 hour drive, The Rock could take his chauffeur the 10 minutes down the street. So,
let's be honest, when he came back prior to that, the show got canceled, the Black Adam and whole DC everything blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, created the Final Boss, did some stuff in WWE, and now it's like his I don't know if that sparked it, but now it's like his Hollywood career is back on track with bigger roles, bigger. You know what I mean? He used it as a crutch again to get
which
back
is smart.
Hollywood. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
He's one of the highest paid guys in Hollywood. So it's smart business stuff, but it does leave people with a sour taste in their mouth.
If he didn't tease any of that, I would have had no expectations.
Yes.
Facts.
All right, we got a couple more super chats here, and then we'll wrap this one up. Shout out to our good friend This Guy Experience, who says, wait, Gino's birthday is in the best month of the year, May. It's almost gonna be May, Gino.
It's gonna be May.
Aaron,
Nice job, Big T.
Aaron loves the first several days of May.
I do.
That thing.
Yes, he does.
There's May the 4th be with you. Song, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I know The Rock also, I think the reason he had to get back because he wanted to be there for his daughter's birthday, but ultimately, I'm going to say when it comes to The Rock, hey, I would love to see Rock versus Roman. I definitely want to see Stone Cold versus CM Punk. But at the end of the day, the business does move on. And as I mentioned earlier, we have no shortage of young talent in WWE that is on the rise. So as great as these past legends would be, at the end of the day, we got to move forward, and WWE will be making new legends for us to always talk about. So, yeah.
And they've done that after night 2, so.
All right. Shout out to Psycho Jet Black. And thank you, Psycho, for not mentioning who shall not be named, because, bad things could happen to certain people if that name was ever mentioned. So Psycho Jet Black says, it really feels like 99% of all wrestlers on the main roster can have great wrestling matches, with many guys and gals being great promos and characters. I mean, that is credit to Shawn Michaels and the Performance Center for getting these guys ready for the big time. And I think he's done a tremendous job. And I really enjoyed that documentary, even though, a lot of it is just rehashing. There's been like half a dozen Shawn Michaels documentaries over the years, but the NXT footage was cool. So shout out to Shawn Michaels. Gino?
It's not going to get any worse with AJ down there helping out now. So
Absolutely.
it's only going to get better from here, folks.
I was going to say, Aaron, we in this room have been fortunate to be, fans and podcasters in a time where arguably the two greatest all-around performers of the last 30 years have been involved in WWE, Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles, and now they're both coaching the future. That you have to really foul it up to derail the future. And if you believe the mark, like Virtue calls him, TKO is going to do that just fine, but hopefully not.
And hopefully the talent stays out of trouble. We don't need another Velveteen Dream or anything like that. Like, let's just focus on our careers and staying out of trouble and making smart decisions. CM Punk's beyond that, because even if he punched the guy, CM Punk's, there's no danger of getting fired because WWE doesn't want him to go back to AEW. So he's really beyond any of the rules and laws of our society. But
Punk's already punched someone on camera or shoved him, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's rich enough, like he said, and he knows he can go make money doing whatever he wants if WWE ain't gonna let him go. So he could have literally curb stomped that guy, and he would have shown up on Raw. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, we got a $2 super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho. He says, "May the 4th be with you, Gino."
And also with you.
and also with
I'll explain that one out there. Never mind. That was good.
Psycho Jet Black says, "You mean Chris Benoit as he who shall not be named?" No, not Chris Benoit. Somebody I very much dislike. I mean, I don't like Chris Benoit, but I'm talking about somebody who's personal to me. Somebody
That's right.
I've had a history with. We'll just leave it at that. And
That's
hopefully Psycho doesn't mention him.
Right.
Psycho sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho, and says, "What were the worst wrestling rosters in history? 95 WWF, when you had TL Hopper and you had Doink and you had Mantar and you had what were their names before they were DOA? The Ron and Don.
Jacob and Eli Blue.
Oh, awful. God. That roster was atrocious. That 95 Rumble without Shawn Michaels and the Bulldog in it, like, ugh.
Yeah. And one of my favorite parts was God, what Rumble was it that Carlos Colon came out well into his 60s, and it's like, oh, the youngster Carlos Colon. It's like, okay, girl, if you say so. He's 60. 95 was really bad, and I don't even think to say the talent was bad, just the gimmicks were atrocious, just awful on both sides.
Just like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Oh my god.
Yeah, WCW trying to out gimmick the WWF just shot them in the foot too before Nitro launched.
All right, we got one more here from Psycho Jet Black. Luther Reigns. I don't like Luther Reigns, but he's not the name I was thinking of.
Oh my god, he's just gonna keep on going all night.
He can make all.
No,
Let's wrap it up.
But it
I
was
know
not
who Aaron's
Luther
talking
Reigns.
about, but I'm not going to say it.
As Big G will say, let's just get there before he gets there.
Let me just say, Big G really doesn't want that name to be mentioned. I'll just leave it at that.
It almost feels like reverse psychology from an expert over here, Aaron. It sure feels like reverse psychology. It sure feels like you want to play something.
I don't, but things have a tendency of happening. If certain, just like Joe Hendry, you say his name and he appears, and bad things.
Patient running over, and
All right,
now
well, then let's wrap it up and see if he gets the hint.
Long today after WrestleMania, but
I know.
The review after Mania. Enough with the Raw after Mania. The review after Mania
Right.
is where it's
That's right.
at.
There you go. I'm here for
Hey,
it.
we're getting close to 400 coming up in a couple months this summer.
yeah.
Woohoo!
I'm just struggling in XMB 100. We're at 4 for this. Jeez.
Are we caught up?
We're
Yeah,
caught
we're-
up.
Go around and do our last word, Jeff Meacham.
I don't have a plug graphic. Just stay tuned to everything on NoDQ.com. I know he's got more stuff to talk about. Dynamite review tomorrow. First Dynamite after WrestleMania. That'll be interesting. See how that plays out.
Yep, Darby Allin's a champion. We didn't talk about that, but yeah. Gino.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. You can catch Noah and I's breakdown of the Predictions League from yesterday. We spent a lot of time breaking down everybody's stats, how they did. And so go check that out. I do my own show on Wednesdays, Thursdays. Go check that out. Just Papa Gino 0017. Thank you so much. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gino. Big G.
Yes, you can follow me on the socials at Original Big G1 and on Instagram at Original Big G1988. And there I am with the Last Outlaw.
And it looks like Jeff Jarrett is going to be okay because Psycho Jet Black guessed wrong 3 times. It's not T-Bar. T-Bar can kiss my ass though.
Right.
EC3. Yeah, EC3 sucks, but he's not the guy. And Alex Riley, I have no issue with Alex Riley.
Hey,
And
Say it to his face.
EC3 return to TNA, Aaron.
oh boy, I got to tune into TNA to see EC3. Holy crap.
Trouble.
No, the only trouble I approve of is Liv Morgan at this point.
I love that you're popping for that song. That tickles me to no end. I'm so happy you put that up online. That made me laugh.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says JD from New York. No, I have no issue with JD from New York. He's very good at what he does. Oh no, why would you do it?
Oh, he did.
You
JJ,
son of a gun.
Do you know
Yeah,
what you
JJ.
did?
All right, we got 2 more blocks on now.
JJ.
Big G can't help you now. This is Psycho Jet Black's fault. He did this to you.
And that explains it.
JJ's the one. Oh,
JJ didn't even get name dropped because of it. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Okay.
There you go. Psycho Jet Black had to summon him. Well, you already summoned him once by JJ Williams, so now Psycho is summoned.
I will not talk about professional wrestling. It is fake, just like all of you. Fake, fake, fake. Go away.
He's just
All right.
standing outside your front door all day, huh?
lurking, man. He's a lurker. He's
I
watching the
think
thing in
we
Vegas.
missed
we
one,
at?
though, Aaron. I think we missed one by Mr. Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson says, who will Danhausen curse next?
Jeff Jarrett.
Well, Jeff
all of
Jarrett already got destroyed.
He had a missed opportunity. He should have cursed Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he should have.
Or he could have tried to curse Cena and it goes through him because he's invisible and hits like Kit.
Maybe if all of his curses have come true, maybe they didn't want it to be that obvious. So that could have been
Nothing will top the ref and his arm. That I can never not laugh at that. like
Papa
absolute cinema.
Yeah,
So-
that was
Are we on? Can I move on now, Aaron?
Yeah, R.I.P. Jeff Jarrett, courtesy of He Who Shall Not Be Named. But yeah, Danhausen must have cursed
Your
Jeff
last
Jarrett.
son.
All right. So, let's see. You got my graphic, Aaron.
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, so there you go. Son Goshoku Wrestling, my second YouTube channel. I have a full, thorough review of nights 1 and 2, and I will be doing a ranking this week as well. Gonna rank all matches from least to best, so check out those live streams. And over on my main YouTube channel, I will be covering all the latest new Dragon Ball news, as well as doing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero live playthroughs. And you can follow me on all my social media platforms there. NoDQ fam, it has been an absolute blast. Thank you for having me again. It'll probably be a while before I'm on again, but I definitely look forward to the next time for sure. Everybody, please remember to always support and say yes to NoDQ.
Who do you think the least likely person in the NoDQ reviewed private chat is to ever get banned by me? I think Son is that guy. I think he's
I agree.
the only person that has a 0% chance of ever getting kicked out by me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Even
appreciate
I've
it.
been kicked out.
Right.
Well, I always try to be
Oh,
respectful as possible to people and everything. That's why I live my life. So, yeah.
I'm kinda shocked.
If I did something, I definitely will apologize. I'm man enough to do that. I've apologized on the show for some comments that I've said before, just because I didn't feel right as a person saying that. So, yeah. But I try to my best to always be respectful to others, especially on you all's platform.
We appreciate that. I'm kind of shocked Walter got kicked, though. I never thought Walter would be.
I would say it's a tie between Son and Noah Foster. Like those two guys just always show everybody nothing but niceties and respect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron.
All right. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching the review after Mania. And we're now on the road to 400 episodes. We got about 16 or 15 to go. Well, this is 384. So I think we have 15 left, if my math is correct, maybe 16. Not really sure, but you guys know.
Or-
6-0. Yeah, you're good.
Have moderator shifts for sure. If Colin can't, Gino, because I'm not going to be doing a 3 or 4 hour show. So, it could go that long. I'm not saying it will, but we definitely have to have a moderator split for 400.
Yeah. So that's coming up probably sometime in August. Stay tuned for that.
Around
And,
SummerSlam.
yeah, and thank you all for following NoDQ during WrestleMania week. Great success, as Borat would say, and on to the next one. Virtue?
And Aaron's about to pop it up. Roman Reigns is no longer my, there it is. Follow me if you dare, x.com @NoDQ_Virtue.
I love it.
That is all I got for Aaron Rift, for Son, for Jeff, for Big G, for Gino, for the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.